Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here, Midwest Market Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today. It is Thursday, August 13th. We're going to hop into U.S. weather from a national yield perspective. Riley, report fresh out yesterday. We're grinding the yield a little bit lower. Think that we're finding some holes in this crop as we've maybe discussed here a little bit. Certainly a lot of great looking crops out there. At this juncture, I'm not going to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised to see the potential for that yield to creep back up. I think that, all of that is fair game. I think that the big wild card here is going to be disease pressure in the east from a lot of rain and, significant humidity, that type of stuff. Nothing we're not used to dealing with. But also, where are we going to end up in North and South Dakota? Because there's certainly some issues up there.
Yep, agreed. And not going to say that we have all the answers, but it does feel good that we were throwing out, as of the information we had, a national yield thought on corn was somewhere in that 181 camp. And then when USDA releases a 180.7, it tells me that we're at least in the ballpark and we got a decent perspective. And that's the whole reason of why we do this.
Absolutely.
So let's go over and get into some maps. First thing that we do have today, new drought monitor map came out. I think it's very, very evident, and it's not really a shock as to what's going on at this stage. Drought monitor map hasn't changed much. South Dakota, Nebraska, North Dakota is hurting the worst. The three-state corner of Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota also in some rough shape. And then a lot of the state of Wisconsin's, I wouldn't say excessive in a drought, but has definitely been in need of some rainfall. So some dry pockets, and then the west is really dry, but one thing that's been consistent over the last 10 days is all the rain that's been in the forecast, but let's go find out how much of it's actually came. So first thing I got here, 1 to 5 day temperatures. Not anything different than what we've been looking at for the last week. Southern states really, really warm, but as you go north, I would call it average to cool temperatures for this time of year. And 6 to 10 day shows a very similar picture. State of Kansas, Missouri, those southern growing states are really, really warm for what feels like has been a while now. So definitely some crop stress going on down there, Clint. How much yield's being lost or determined at this stage of the game is tough to say. So we're past the point of pollination. The further south you go, the earlier harvest begins. So what is this taking off the top line? It's tough to judge at this stage. But moving ahead here, last 2 weeks of rainfall. This is an important one after how dry we were in the past. One thing to note, western regions that needed the rain the most can see North Dakota, not a whole lot of rain there. South Dakota has spots. So in that northeast corner, they had a significant amount of rainfall to help them out. But as you look to the driest region in the state, green and yellow, if you look at the numbers there, 1 to 2 inches, nothing very excessive. So still a lot of area there that's really hurting. And if you look in Nebraska, same story there.
And I think this is what just really complicates the scenario, Riley, there's rain in there, and a couple inches is a couple inches of rain, and it certainly had to have done some good. It's just difficult to assess what kind of damage was done, and would we be able to recover from there? Where it's just a very difficult situation to assess from what's out there.
Yeah, and it's like you just mentioned, it's something we might not have an answer to until you turn the calendar to 2027.
Yeah, and and you're hearing reports, and I'm not trying to get widespread like bullish and sentiment out there, but you're hearing a lot of reports out there of corn with no ears on it. Well, if the ears aren't there, it doesn't really matter how much rain it got after that. And I'm hearing that the tip back is real. So I guess, the rain still help fill out the kernels that are there.
Yeah. So that it just begs the question of how much good can the rain do and how much damage was already done. If you turn the page here, if you look, Iowa in the last 2 weeks has had a significant amount of rain. Talked with some guys in that eastern Iowa region that you can see there's in the red. They had some pretty significant storm damage in some of those areas too, but I haven't heard any mass flooding issues, but very, very wet. They're at the point now that if more rain continues to come, it's going to do more harm than it is good. But if you switch and look even further to the east, though, Illinois, 3 to 4 inches of rain is exactly what they could have used. Some places did have some storm damage, I'm hearing, in Illinois as well. And if you're in those regions, it really hurts. But if you look at the map, a lot more people got nice rainfall to help them out than the people that get hurt by a storm. So Eastern Belt now getting to the point, 3+ inches of rain in the last 2 weeks. There's been some more in the forecast. You mentioned it, Clint. How much disease pressure, how many issues are starting to come in now on the east side as the polar opposite concerns of what's happening in the west? So questions that, once again, it's going to be tough to answer until you get to the point of harvest. So moving ahead here, 1 to 5 day precip. Rain system's been coming through right down the heart of the growing area here. You can see Iowa's northern half getting a decent amount of rain over the next 5 days. A lot of that coming here between now and Saturday. After that, chances look to be pretty good and gone after that. But can see some rain supposed to hit the Dakotas, Nebraska, the areas that are really wet as well. So that's important, and still the question is to be answered. How much of that at this point is too little too late, and how much of that's really helping them out? So we'll have to wait and find out what the answer is. But this region of the Eastern Belt, northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, I wonder at what point they're asking for the rain to stop. We're at a stage now where diseases and issues with the crops can come in, and will it happen, and on what scale? We're just going to have to see. But that's what's happening here in the 1 to 5, 6 to 10 day, a lot drier forecast. Some chances for some spotty rains here and there, but in August, it's tough to count on something like that until we get that into the front of the forecast. So putting everything together in the 1 to 13 day, that 1 to 5 is so wet that it's just very, very clear. Rainfall's been in the mix, and I think that's definitely been something that's halted the market. You know, we saw a really green day today and yesterday in the corn market, but that was report related. With all this rain in the mix, it seems like it's hard for the markets to sustain any kind of big rally. So with all that said, that's all I've got today, Clint.
Sounds good, Riley. Well, we'll be on here next week, Tuesday, to let you know how we get the week started again. Clint McLaughlin, Riley Sykard, Midwest Market Management. Thanks a lot and have a good day.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.